Hi, in this video we're going to show how to use Amplify Fusion to proxy an existing third-party API and add security to it. So in your API project, click the plus button next to API and let's give the API a name and let's load the OpenAPI specification for it. This is the CatStore 3.0. And click Next. Now we need to know where that backend API exists. And we click Create. And there is our API. So we have some general information, the backend connection, and it is worth noting that we automatically create a backend connection. It's an HTTP client to CatStore is the name and the URL. So that's done automatically. I do need to define a front-end base path, catstoreapi, and so incoming calls will be to the host URL / catstoreapi / whatever these methods are, and then that will route to the backend catstoreapi at the URL that we saw in the connection. So as a test, to see if we proxied it okay, let's enable or activate my API. Oh, I do have to save this. Now we can activate our API. And we can also get the URL. And let's come here to Postman. Let's paste in the URL, and the method is at /pet findByStatus. That is this method right here, and it has a query parameter called status. So let's put in a key here called status, and I know that one of the available values is available. And if we run that, oh, I misspelled that. Okay, findByStatus. Okay, so here we have the response. So you can see that a call to the front end and then the proper method got routed to the back end. And if I look here under authorization, there is no authorization. So that simple curl command with no authorization calls the API. So what I'd like to do now is come back in here and add some front-end security. So let me click the security tab. I'll do something simple. We'll add API key security. We need a governance rule for that. So let me give it a name. And I want the key to be sent in the header. And the name of the key will be x-api-key. And let's click Create and Save. And at this point, I can enable my API. All right, so the API is enabled. Let's come back over here. And if I click Send, I now get an unauthorized. And the reason is we don't have an API key. So if I select API key, it is x-api key. I don't know what that is, but if I send, well, that's clearly not the right key. So what do we need to do? We need to go into the manager and select applications, and we need to create an application. So let me call this TESTAPP. And I have to select the API. So this is CatStore in my Getting Started project. Click Apply. And for which data planes? Only the shared data plane. I've got 2. And I'll add an API key and click Save. And at this point, I can copy my API key. I can come back in here into Postman. I can paste that. I can look at it. And now I can make the call. And I expect the results. So in this video, we saw how we could use Amplify Fusion to proxy the CatStore API. I called it CatStore. We saw how it created an HTTP connection to the back end, allowed me to create a front-end URL, and then call the API, and then add API key security. Thank you.